Hi everybody, welcome to Charlie's Garage. I'm here at Arizona Automotive Institute and I've got the Mustang here behind me, you guys can see her. What I wanted to do is a quick video. If you spend any time on the internet looking for Mustang information, you will see that in almost all the forums that one of the most popular Google searches has to do with overheating Mustangs. And in the forums there is just list after list after list of people talking about their Mustangs running too hot and what different people have done to keep them cool. There is no one answer or one solution to the overheating Mustang problem, but what I did want to share with you guys is kind of what I have done to correct those issues on my specific car. So let's take a look at the Mustang. All right, so like most other people, I had the same issues when I first got this car with it overheating or running hot, especially here in Arizona. So I've done a few things to it over the years to try to help with that situation. So let's start with the basics, and that would be the radiator. So normally these came with a smaller radiator than this one. This is a 24-inch radiator. So it's a bigger radiator than the one that would normally come with it. So that's one thing that you can do. I would say that if you're trying to keep your car stock though, the first thing you should probably do to try to keep it from overheating is look and see if you have a fan shroud. If you do not have a shroud like the one I have around my electric fans here, if you still have the mechanical fan it's driven by a belt and you didn't have a shroud around it, that's going to cause a lot of the airflow coming through that fan to come around the radiator instead of forcing the air to come through the radiator. So that's a big element in the cooling of your engine, is getting that air to come through the radiator. So a fan shroud should probably be your first step if you don't have one. If you're not a purist like me and you're just doing a kind of a resto mod type project and you don't really care if anything's original in the car or not, then yeah, the radiator that I put in here is a bigger one than stock. The other thing I did with the radiator, which is kind of unique, is that on these 289 models right here, a lot of them, if you look on the stock, you got the this radiator hose that I have over here on the left side of the engine. It's normally over here on the right side, and then right down there at the bottom is the lower radiator hose. So what happens is the coolant comes from the engine out from the let me show you guys, comes right out through this thermostat housing right here, and it travels through the hose, and it used to come in on this side of the engine. And what would happen is that since the lower radiator hose is down there, is also on this side of the engine, is that you would just get straight downflow of the coolant coming through the radiator. And it didn't spend very much time in the radiator getting cooled down. So I had our welding department take the connector that was over here on this side, and I had them take it off, cover the hole, and move the connector to the other side. So now I'm running from my thermostat through my upper radiator hose to that side, and for it to get to the water pump and back into the engine, it has to go across the entire radiator. So that is a big way to make cooling more efficient on these. All right, so then I also went with one of the problems I was having is that my overheating was mostly occurring during idling. So I'd be at stop and go traffic or something like that, and my temperatures would start to go up. And once I started driving again, some of it is airflow coming through the radiator at road speed, but part of it is dependent on a belt-driven water pump being dependent on engine RPM. So what I did, and you've probably seen one of the other videos on this channel, is I replaced the belt-driven water pump with an electric water pump. Now the electric water pump is not dependent on engine RPM and will operate with the same flow rate whether you're going 70 down the road or whether you're sitting at idle at a stoplight. So, and that plays a key role of keeping that water circulating. One thing to keep in mind, anybody that's thinking about doing an electric water pump replacement, is that unlike a standard belt-driven water pump, which is a centrifugal type pump, you can deadhead that pump against a closed thermostat and you're not going to damage that pump. an electric water pump, you do not want to run it and have a thermostat that's closed. You're going to damage your electric water pump. So you have to replace your thermostat with a restrictor or something of that type instead of using a conventional thermostat. All right. So those were the major things I've done, right? So I got a larger radiator, moved the upper radiator hose. I got electric fans that have two of them that have their own shrouds, but if I didn't have these, I'd still want a shroud. And I converted to an electric water pump. So these are just the things that I did that have helped me with overheating issues. And then another thing is that these old engines, you have the original engine in your car and it hasn't been rebuilt. There's decades of crud built up in those water passages that may be preventing heat transfer. So you may want to take a look at that. It might be time to rebuild the engine or put a fresh engine in it. So I hope you like this video. I hope it gives you guys some ideas on what to do on your own cars. And these aren't specific to Mustangs. These same ideas will work on anything. So if you guys have any questions about overheating the Mustangs or any other cars, just let me know and I'll help you out if I can. Thank you. Please like and subscribe.